Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, The Scent Obsessed Mom. My name is Lauren and I am batch creating content right now. I'm trying to fit in as much as I can at once as possible. And so that's why you're gonna see me in the same outfit for a few of these videos. I am a mom, guys. It is the Scent Obsessed Mom of 3. So I kind of just have to fit it in when I can fit it in, right? So anyway, if you're new here, I'm happy to have you. Thank you for watching. I love talking about all things affordable women's fragrance. So if that sounds good to you, please consider subscribing. Today's video, I plan to do a series of these because if you're like me and you collect fragrances, you're really into fragrances, and you've indulged in blind buying a lot, which I'm trying to cut down on, you probably have a lot of these, okay? I know I do. So I have 8 fragrances today. Most of them are perfumes. One of them is a body mist. So I'm gonna start out with this batch of 8 and go from there. So since I do have 8 of them, and these are all ones that I did not care for, obviously, and will be decluttering, which, by the way, I believe all of these are listed on my Mercari currently. So if you do like these fragrances, go check it out. I have my Mercari linked on my profile here on YouTube, but I'll link it in the description of this video as well. So that's the other thing. Don't be offended. It's okay. Even if just because I don't like something, obviously doesn't mean you're not going to like it. So this is just all my personal opinion. And a lot of these, it's not because they're necessarily a bad fragrance. They just weren't my vibe for one reason or another. But again, since I do have 8 of them, I'm not going to get into notes for all of these. I will just tell you the fragrance, a little bit about it, what I didn't like, and why it's getting decluttered. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm going to actually start out with the body mist. Don't hate me for this, guys, because I know that this was a favorite for a lot of people out of this particular line. Coconut Passion Brulee. So in recent years, I have become an even bigger fan of Victoria's Secret. Some of their perfumes, but mainly body mists and lotions. And I probably follow them a little too closely, kind of like Bath and Body Works, so I need to cut down on that too. But, you know, they're always releasing flankers of their main line of fragrances, their core fragrances, whatever. So one of the more recent ones was the Brulee collection, and they got very mixed reviews. I feel like a lot of the other ones people didn't like, at least the reviews that I watched. I tried a few other ones, didn't really like them. This was the only one that I hung on to because I thought, like, okay, I like this one a little more than the others. I still wasn't sure. I love the original Coconut Passion. From judging from all the reviews that I've read and videos I've watched, this might have been the most popular one, or at least one of the ones that people were happiest with, right? So for me, and I already have perfume on, so I'm going to spray this on paper. So the notes, I can tell you the notes for this one because they're right here on the back. It's coconut flakes, brown sugar, an indulgent gourmand take on Coconut Passion, and it is definitely very gourmand. So that actually, I think, ended up being part of the problem for me. I used to be into super, super gourmand, super sweet, candy, you know, all the things, bakery type scents. I still can enjoy those to an extent. This was a little too strong, a little too gourmand, a little too heavy for me. It was almost like headache inducing. So it's a yummy scent. It's a little too strong. It's a little too much for me. Too sweet, too gourmand. But if you like coconut, you like brown sugar, and you like your super gourmand scents, I say give it a try. Like I said, all of these are on my Mercari. If you're interested, you can go check them out. So that is the only body mist I have in this haul. Like I said, I do plan to do more of these with all of my many blind buy fails. So the next one is a perfume. This is actually a little old school. I'm not exactly sure when this came out, but it is White Musk by Alyssa Ashley. This one I still have the box for. Whatever that is. Oh, Perfume cologne spray. But I believe this one, it's got these little symbols on it. So there's another one that's like for men. This one is supposed to be for women. And I watched some really good reviews on this, and I was like, I'm kind of trying to get more into musks, like just a softer skin scent, maybe like bedtime after shower type scent, which is why I originally tried this out. And so it's like, I'm going to go for it because it wasn't that expensive. I think I got this on like Fragrance Net or something. Sorry, I'm going to get another paper here. And this is a softer like skin scent. So it's not like super strong or something that's like going to project a lot. And it's not terrible. It's just kind of, I wasn't crazy about it, you know? I felt like it might smell a tad dated and maybe a tad too mature for me. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, it's a clean, it's clean type, musk type fragrance. I just was one that wasn't necessarily bad. It just was not a love for me. But if you like musks and you're looking for something simple and straightforward, especially for like a bedtime or skin type scent, I say try it out. Why not? So again, that was White Musk by Alyssa Ashley. Just not crazy about it personally. I have other like after shower bedtime type scents that I like better, I guess. Okay, so the next one I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for because this like was, I feel like super viral, still very popular. Most of the vast majority of the people that I saw reviewing this loved it. Not that every review obviously is good. But I really thought I was going to love this after all the positive reviews. And that is Noble Blush, guys. Lattafa Noble Blush. So I will say I was a little concerned about the rose in this because I'm not a huge rose fan. If there's too much rose, especially like a kind of dusty smelling or like dated, too mature type of rose or just too rose forward in general, I tend to not like it. However, a lot of the reviewers were describing this as more of a milky rose milk. And I think that might actually be the note in here is rose milk. And it's sweet and it's super feminine and it's a very pink fragrance. So I'm like, that sounds really nice. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and try it. And it ended up just kind of being a flop for me. And my husband, who doesn't really notice perfumes that much, of course, it just figures me being perfume obsessed, would marry someone who could give a crap less about fragrances, doesn't wear cologne, hardly notices when I'm wearing them. But this was one I think he said that he was not a huge fan of either. Yeah, and it's like, I feel like if you took the rose note out, it would, like the other notes in it are nice. I can see why some people like it. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just, it's still a little too rosy for me. And I think the mix of that with some of the other notes just was not a good blend for me personally. So that one I am letting go. I'm sorry if you love Noble Blush because I do know it's popular. I can see why some people would love it, especially if you like rose or more floral notes. But for me, this was just a no. Okay, the next one. This is one that I thought I was going to keep, and I did keep it for a short period. I actually got a partial bottle on Mercari. This is Pure Grace because this past summer, for whatever reason, I started getting a lot more into fresh and clean perfumes and perfumes that smell like soap and laundry. And so I had heard this one recommended by quite a few people. And the first time I used it, I was like, oh, you know, this is kind of nice. And it had decent lasting power throughout the day. Just a nice kind of like soap-like scent. But something in it, and I would have to go and look up the notes. And even then, I might not be able to tell you specifically what it was that turned me off. But something about it, I just was not crazy about. And I think because, again, not a bad fragrance. I can see why it's popular, especially among people who are looking for a very clean, fresh, soap-like scent. I definitely see that. Not bad. It's just I have other clean fragrances that I like better, right? This was one that I'm just kind of, there's something in there that's just a little off. If I don't love it, I'm trying to get better about that. I'm trying to really narrow down. Number one, like I said, cutting down on blind buying, but like just narrow down the collection that I have as well to like my loves, right? So this was just not a love for me, but not a bad fragrance, okay? The next two are Banana Republic fragrances. The first one is Metal Rain. Other one is peony and peppercorn. You can find these a lot at discount stores, like I think Ross and Burlington is where I found both of these. I can't remember which one was where. Metal and Rain is unisex. And I have started getting more into unisex fragrances. I have multiple in my collection, but this one, I don't know. It just was not a love. I got a small bottle of it, thankfully, but, and this is a dupe for something, or is very similar to another one, like niche perfume maybe, and I think it's called like something water. Silver something water. Mountain water? Silver mountain water? Some of you might know that fragrance. Yeah, I mean, it's very unisex, maybe even a tad masculine leaning. And I've heard it's a good dupe for whatever that fragrance is. Yeah, not bad. It just was not for me. And like I said, it was maybe just a tad too masculine leaning. I think it had like a metallic note in there, metal note or something. And I'm wondering if maybe that's what was kind of throwing it off for me. But again, that was Metal Rain. But if you're looking for a dupe of that, I think it's Silver Mountain Water. Creed, maybe? Is it Creed? I think it might be Creed. So if you're looking for a dupe for that, checking on my toddler, I heard this is a good one, just FYI. Peony and Peppercorn. This one seems to be hyped a lot from Banana Republic. Multiple people that I follow on YouTube really like this fragrance. And for me, the peppercorn was the main thing that I was like, I don't mind some peony in fragrances. Again, I don't like anything that's overly floral, but the peppercorn was the thing. I like pepper fragrance. It's things that have different kinds of pepper in them. So I was like, well, maybe it's kind of like a musky, spicy type floral, because I don't mind those. To me, at least on skin, this was just like a peony bomb, like a floral bomb. That's all I could smell. It has some sweetness to it. I mean, I can see the peppercorn is kind of there, but there's not enough of it, in my opinion. It was almost like straight peony is what it smelled like when I sprayed it on skin. So that's why it was a fail for me. But it's pretty. And if you like florals and you like peony, you might like that one. That was not my cup of tea. Okay, down to 3. So these are little mini bottles. So 2 of these are like definitely throwback fragrances. One of them is kind of throwback, but not like super far throwback. So the not super far throwback is the Paris Hilton Can. I believe I got a small bottle of this little bottle at Burlington as well. So it's not like I paid a lot for it. And at first I liked it because it's kind of reminded me of kind of a summery type, like fruity floral type fragrance, you know. So in the summer, I didn't mind it, but at the end of the day, it was just kind of generic to me. It didn't really wow me. So like I said, after a while, it was kind of like, why am I keeping this in my collection if I don't love it? So again, not a bad fragrance. I enjoyed it for a while, especially I think this is a really good spring summer fragrance. But I ended up decluttering it just because, like I said, it's not, in my opinion, anything special. It's just kind of generic smelling, you know, celebrity perfume type smell to me. So the last 2, I've gotten more into throwback fragrances. I was born in the 80s, raised mainly in the 90s, early 2000s. And so just for, you know, I've seen some of them becoming more popular and coming back around on social media, but also it's just nostalgic for me. Some of these scents I remember specifically from my childhood or smelling them either on like those little, you know, magazine fold outs where you can test fragrances. There are a couple that I think I knew people who wore them, that kind of thing. So 2 of the ones that I picked up that ended up being at least somewhat of a fail for me were Tommy Girl. I'll start with that one. Again, not bad. I think I was actually hoping for something a little more unisex. Yes, I realize it's called Tommy Girl, but a lot of like the 90s fragrances, even the girls ones had like a kind of a unisex type feel to them. Do you know what I mean? Not all of them, but yeah. And this is not a bad fragrance. It's just, to me, it just smells like kind of a fruity floral. It was just another one of those ones that was kind of like it's all right. It's nice for nostalgia's sake. But again, if we're talking about something that I love, that I just really want to reach for and wear all the time, like this just was not it for me. But there's that. And then the last one, This was kind of a bummer for me because this was nostalgic. This was one of those ones that I remembered as a kid before I was really old enough to own my own perfumes or have money to buy perfume unless, somebody gave it to me as a gift. I loved smelling the little magazine sample, fold out things. And so one of the ones I remember from back in the day, it must have been around the time this first came out, I guess, was Davidoff Cool Water, or Davidoff, however you say that. Cool Water for women. I found a little set with this little bottle and a lotion on the Walmart website. And this was around the time this summer that I not only got kind of into the throwback scents, but like the more kind of unisex, also aquatic and fresh and clean scents. And so I'm like, you know what? I remember really liking this when I smelled it back in the day. So I'm going to get a small thing of it. Why not? And I might really like it because I was getting more into aquatics and fresh, clean scents. So I was looking for things also to add to my collection, especially over the summer. Yeah, and it was pretty much like I remember, but it was almost like a little too much or a little too strong for me. I'm not sure exactly what notes. It's not that it smelled super masculine, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of a cologne. A little too strong, a little too... I might spray this one on skin just to kind of jog my memory here. Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of bummed because I thought that this was going to be something that I loved, but a lot of times things that you love as a kid, you're not necessarily going to love it as an adult, right? Like I can even say that my nose and my preferences have changed over like the last 6 months to a year, much less, however many years it's been since I first smelled this. So yeah, it still had that like nostalgic quality where I'm like kind of took me back a little bit. But as far as something that I would wear now, I wouldn't say that this is like a love for me, or at least like I can see maybe loving this on someone else, but for me personally, I don't really see myself wearing it. So that's why I'm decluttering the Cool Water. And again, I have this in a set with a lotion on my Mercari. So there you have it, guys. I'm sorry if I dissed any of your favorite perfumes. We all know scent is personal. So just because I love something doesn't mean you're going to love it. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean you're not going to like it. And again, I wouldn't say that there were really any fragrances in this group because sometimes I do smell fragrances and I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. Or that's not at all what I thought it was going to smell like. I can't really say there were any fragrances in here like that I was just like, ooh, that's nasty. Like you're trying to like scrub it off your arm type of thing. They just weren't for me. Right? They weren't like a love. So anyway, there you have it. There is my first batch of blind buy fails. And again, it's a goal of mine to cut down on my blind buying, as I'm sure with many of us that have been doing that for a while and learned our lesson the hard way. Let me know in the comments what some of your biggest blind buy fails are. They can be ones kind of like these that you're just like, that was a disappointment. I didn't love it like I thought I would. Or maybe it was a really bad blind buy fail where you like absolutely hated it. And one of those ones where you were like, you couldn't scrub hard enough or quick enough to get it off your arm. Let me know in the comments. I'm very curious to hear from you. And again, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.